Alright, guys and girls, it's Jerningham here. We're going to be taking a bit more look at the news. Let's have a look here. We've got North Yallington news. So I'm going to try and find where we're up to on this news channel or TV. The virus pandemic, Minister Boris Johnson says there is wintering to the Conservatives MP to say the last coronavirus tier have set to close of date of the 3rd of February. Virus pandemic, the government seduces a additional 2 million doses of the middle of COVID vaccines, which will trial suggests as a 95 effect. Virus pandemic, the Labour Party enduring the government spending peaks, railing fears and introduction means testing for transport staff to help countries avoid a travelling run up to Christmas. So that makes any sense. And let's talk about the virus pandemic again. Three have been the future of. Do we know what the numbers today? We've already done them before in another video. So I just want to know what the other news is on it. I've got an itchy chest here, see? Bloody beard. It talks about the economy of food. 10,500 turkeys include the farming near in the North Yorkshire birded flu outbreak. So, for given security, Dominic Rimmins tells Sophie Ridgway Sunday programmes there is a deal to be drawn between UK, European Union, be the fishing policies still remaining of a bone connections. Got some war here. I quickly turned it around because we're talking about this as well. Sudan war. Even opening army.
We saw images of troops operating behind the front line, one day after their Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, declared the mission an unqualified success. A number of small-scale celebrations were captured on social media. Here, pro-government militiamen wave their weapons in western Tigray. And a government spokesman said the capital, Mekelle, had been taken with a minimum of fuss.
Residents of the Mekelle city have been very, very cooperative since the defense forces have taken over. Critical facilities, government facilities have been taken over, including the regional administration.
Talks about Brighton 1, Liverpool 1, Manchester
well.
City
So
5.
critical infrastructures are under the federal
Burnley,
command.
Leeds West,
But the party
Sheffield
that
United,
ran this
football.
rebellious region, the TPLF, says the conflict's only begun. We want lovers and haters to know that for all the damage that's been caused, we will retaliate. This conflict has caused a humanitarian crisis. Tens of thousands have been displaced, with many seeking sanctuary in neighboring Sudan. But it could turn into a catastrophe. The Red Cross says hospitals in Mekelle are running short of medical supplies, and the Ethiopian government is preventing the UN from assisting those in desperate need.
The great difficulty and the great concern is that we still have no access to people in need. So one strong appeal that we've put out for the federal authorities in Ethiopia is to grant again that access. We've heard talk about humanitarian corridors, access, that's all good, but we need to see concrete action there. And
has action been taken?
Very limited so far.
The UN says 100,000 Tigrayans may flee to Sudan, but this country is barely able to care for them. It already hosts 1 million refugees from right across Africa. We spoke to a number of them on the streets of the capital, Khartoum. Some said they've been stranded here for years.
We are tired. We don't get any support, health care. We don't have any health care. Our children, they're in the road, no education, no protection. So we are tired. That's why we decide to camping here for durable solution.
Individuals and families sleep outside the office of the UN's refugee agency, a sort of protest come appeal for permanent relocation. 22-year-old Munageta has spent her whole life as a refugee.
You cannot go to school, especially for me and for us. We can't go to school. We got to teach ourselves, and our parents have to teach us also. So it's really difficult. You can't. I can't have friends. I never had any friends. I can't have. It's only my parents and my sisters are my friends. So no friends, no social life.
It may be hard, but Sudan is relatively secure, and there are tens of thousands of Ethiopians who have nowhere else to go. John Sparks, Sky News, Khartoum.
In other news, a turkey farm in North Yorkshire has been forced to cull more than 10,000 turkeys following an outbreak of bird flu. A temporary control zone has been put in place at the site in Northallerton to stop the disease spreading. There have been several outbreaks of avian flu across the country this month. Experts say the strain of the virus doesn't affect food safety, but they are concerned about the spread of the virus.
So the risk to any bird keeper, whether you keep just a few birds or a huge number of poultry, is now really at significant levels, and we're asking people to take absolutely scrupulous biosecurity measures to manage any potential spread from wild birds into their own birds, be it direct spread, so making sure that you've netted off the top of your pens, for example, but also indirect spread, so making sure that any footwear you wear when you go into your birds is scrupulously clean. There are food dishes, water dishes and things are also really, really scrupulously clean.
A mother who killed 6 of her children in an arson attack in Derby has been released after 8 years in prison. Mairead Philpott had been found guilty of 6 counts of manslaughter after her daughter and 5 sons died in the house fire in Derby. She was originally sentenced to 7 years in prison. A British woman who spent 6 years travelling around Europe in a camper van has gone missing in the Pyrenees. Esther Dingley was on top of a mountain on the French-Spanish border when she last spoke to her partner a week ago. The 37-year-old was expected to end her solo trek on Wednesday, but so far search and rescue teams have found no trace of her. Police in Buenos Aires have searched the house and clinic of Diego Maradona's private doctor. Argentine prosecutors are investigating Dr. Leopoldo Luque to see whether there was negligence in Maradona's treatment following surgery. The 60-year-old former footballer died on Wednesday of a heart attack. Dr. Luque has described the allegations as outrageous. There are 2 million people in the UK who are shielding during the pandemic. They include teenagers with Down syndrome who've been classed as extremely vulnerable, and some colleges are saying that they can't attend without a letter from a doctor. Well, Sky News has learned that some GPs are now charging for those letters, and they can take weeks to arrive. Our People and Politics correspondent Nick Martin has this special report.
Thank you. I'm Joe Tranter is one of thousands of teenagers with Down syndrome having to shield during the second lockdown.
What's the first thing you want to do when you get back to college?
More writing.
And you'll be able to get back into the class, see your friends and do more writing?
Yeah. Joe didn't have to shield during the first lockdown, but this time round the government placed people with Down syndrome on the clinically extremely vulnerable list. His college said he could only attend if his mum got a doctor's note.
I was shocked because up until that point there's no indication that they were more vulnerable than anybody else in the general population. So I rang the doctor on Monday then to sort out the letter.
What did the doctor say?
I didn't speak to the doctor, I spoke to a secretary who said that if they do the letter it would cost £38 and it will take up to 4 weeks to produce. I don't think it's right in this case to charge.
The Department of Health and Social Care told us that the clinically vulnerable haven't been asked to shield, but to be careful to follow the rules. According to latest research, people with Down syndrome are at greater risk from COVID, but it's mainly those over 40.
This has led to some charities to question whether the guidance is too broad and open to misinterpretation. They say if younger people aren't at as much risk, then why are they put in the same category as those who are older than them, just because they have Down syndrome in common?
The whole thing is a bit of a mess, I have to say.
Carol Boys is from the Down Syndrome Association.
People who have Down syndrome have been told that they are in this group that are clinically extremely vulnerable, and they have to stop doing everything that they would normally be doing and stay at home. And that has caused all kinds of upset and anxiety.
Chico, come here. But there are some families who've been shielding for months now by choice.
You're going to get a job in the Amazon rainforest, aren't you, Martin? Hey, destroying trees.
Martin O'Neill is 35 and has Down syndrome. He hasn't been to his day centre since March. His dad, Jimmy, scared he'll catch the virus.
How important is the centre in his life normally?
It's probably about 75% of his life going there. You know, I know he's got us, but if you ever seen him getting ready for the centre, he hops on the spot, you know, jumps about. Don't you, Martin? Hey?
And without it?
And he's quieter.
For those in Martin's position, there is one hope, and that's a vaccine.
Without the vaccine, I can't see us doing another 12 months of this. It's soul destroying.
There are more than 2 million people shielding during this pandemic. They're waiting for a time when their world can open up again. Nick Martin, Sky News, Manchester.
You're watching Sky News. Coming up, we've got the sport for you and the end of an era, how Celtic's cup dominance in Scotland came to an end.
Well, guys and girls, hope you've all enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it with your friends if you want to see more of these news channels, as you'll see on the news channel, Sky News or any other news, what usually happens on the TV. But anyway, thanks for joining me. See you next video. Peace.